If you're new to the Digimon card game or looking to build some budget decks, then this video will be perfect for you. Digimon fans, welcome back, and today we'll be talking about which decks that you should consider bringing to the June 2023 Ultimate Cup event. There has been quite a few changes since my last Ultimate Cup video, so I thought it would be really cool to provide you guys some updated choices. First, let's take a quick look at what the updated rules are. Pretty much same as last time, you're only going to be allowed to play with a deck that focuses on a single color. And this time, Impmon from EX2 and Hydramon are added to the restricted list where you can only have one copy in your deck. Also, the June 2023 updated ban and restriction list is going to be effective as well, so you probably will have to change your decks accordingly to match both guidelines at the same time. Keep in mind that all these decks are not ranked in particular order, and I hope that the deck list I showcase will be a good resource for inspiration to all of your own choices. So let's jump right into it. I am also super excited to announce a new feature on my channel where I launched my very first ever YouTube membership called the Avault Club. By joining, you will have access to exclusive perks and contents that regular viewers don't have. Perks include the Avault Club membership badge, and the best part is that you'll be able to see members-only community posts featuring my first draft deck profiles even before the video comes out. You will see more updates by me for every deck profile released and even updated deck lists and adjustments with all the lists. Your comments and questions will also have priority replies from me. So what are you guys waiting for? Click on the join button right now. Thank you all so much for the support, and I look forward to engaging with you guys. Starting off, we of course have everyone's favorite main protagonist with the red WarGreymon deck. The red base mainly focuses on having a ton of DP and security +1 effects to go for a full out combo, taking down your opponent's securities as quickly as possible. It is really easy to pick up the deck, as the main goal is to build a big stack and then let your top end Digimon do all the work. You also got quite a few different Agumons I can play to help you search for pieces required to build the most optimal stack at all times. Ending games quickly is what this deck is all about, and it is very consistent at doing so. With the absence of the X Antibody option card, the deck does slow down quite a bit, but the overall approach of how you played still doesn't change and it can still perform very well. And then moving on to the dark counterpart, we certainly have to talk about BlackWarGreymon. Within the most recent regular format, we started to see many players adapting both WarGreymon and BlackWarGreymon into their decks, creating one of the strongest decks of the meta. However, with the single color rule in effect, player nows will have to make a choice of only being able to play one of the colors, whether if it's red or black. The black base contains some really neat tools and cards, mainly being the tamers, such as Yuya, which we can get extra DP and option protection for one turn, which is very good. The other would be the BT12 tie, which consistently gives your Agumons and your Greymons blocker an extra 1000 DP. But most importantly, it gains you memory every time you digivolve into your Greymons, which helps you build your stack quickly. There are also tons of different tools that the deck utilizes, such as de-digivolving, deleting tamers, deleting Digimon, and many others, which makes it a very well-rounded deck against any other matchups. Overall, I tend to like BlackWarGreymon a little bit more just because it has the control and flexibility elements, which gives you a reliable and safe method to win games. Next up, we got Red Hybrid, which is another all-out aggressive style deck. It can be considered as one of the fastest decks currently, which has the capability to end games super fast. The strategy is to find a way to access your Takuyas, and then capitalize off of them to deal as much damage as you can to your opponent's security, and that is especially crucial and important when you have access to Atomic Inferno. The build is pretty much the same with the single color rule, but now you can no longer play Bokomon or Omnimon inside your decks. These can be easily filled back in with other more consistent cards, such as increasing the numbers of Flamemons or playing red memory boost to aid the searching and memory gains. This deck is just really all about attacking as much as possible, and if it fits your playstyle, this is what I would recommend for sure. UlforceVeedramon is definitely one of the most hyped decks coming into the Ultimate Cup modified rules format. That is because the entire build is barely affected by the rules, and it's currently only one of the best blue decks that can OTK your opponents out of nowhere. With the addition of Ulforce X, this deck has another top end boss Digimon which can get into. The win condition is fairly straightforward, as the main goal is to build your stack towards Ulforce and then play as many tamers as possible for free via its when digivolving effect, so then you can unsuspend constantly and multiple times and make many attacks in one turn. The combo may be slightly complicated for those who are playing it for the very first time, so I definitely recommend checking out my latest UlforceVeedramon X deck and guide to learn how to execute and play those combos correctly. Many players within the community are speculating that this deck will do well, and I totally also agree because I do expect it to top. If you're a huge fan of UlforceVeedramon and willing to spend quite a bit of money to get those retunrs as well, then this deck is definitely something I highly consider even bringing for myself. Speaking of UlforceVeedramon, if you want to see this deck in action, then be sure to watch the latest battle series with Dimensional Phase on the channel featuring the epic free-for-all tournament. I'll leave links in the description box down below. Blue Flare is another really strong deck that we can expect to see some representation for the Ultimate Cup format. Furthermore, it is a relatively budget-friendly deck and all the cards are very easily accessible. It is very consistent at gathering resources and drawing cards with its searching effects too. Blue Flare has a reliable mid-game plan when setting up for the top end plays thanks to Digicross and the save mechanic. It is exceptionally good at punishing wide boards by stunning your opponent's Digimon as long as they have 2 or more on their side. It also has quite a bit of aggression as it can chip down your opponent's security and make multiple swings quickly. And with all those factors in mind, this is also another deck that I wouldn't be surprised and expect to top as well. Moving on, we got Blue Hybrid, as I think it will also be making a comeback. Even though the deck may seem a little slower compared to all the others, it actually has several control elements that can slow down the opponent's deck and force them to play at your pace instead. Source stripping and stunning is what Blue Hybrid does best, and with the inclusion of Leomon and the Jerry package, you can now also have blockers that prevent your opponents from playing too aggressively. Furthermore, Mirage Gallantmon fits perfectly into this deck, becoming the new top end boss Digimon of the deck. It can control the board even further with its bouncing effect, or even forces your opponent to add a security card to their hand, which helps push for lethal even faster on your end. It can help you gain even more memory at the same time, and more memory can lead to even more hybrid plays for additional swings. If you're fond of the idea of attacking with hybrids one at a time to have a safer play, then this deck would be a great choice. Next up, I got a fan favorite spice for all of you, where I have Imperialdramon. And yes, I got a pure blue version for the build. Since Imperial has been one of my personal favorite decks to play all time and has a special place in the channel, I've decided to cook something up for it. Because pure green cards cannot be played due to this single color rule, Hydramon would be the best substitute to compensate for the green Digimon when you need to go into your DNA plays. Other than DNA Digivolving though, I also added good old Imperialdramon from BT3 so that you can have a different method to build your stack when you need instead. The playstyle of this deck mainly focuses on making multiple swings with unsuspending effects as much as possible when you build your stack. It also has a fair amount of control tools such as bottom decking and suspending your opponent's Digimon. It always feels very exciting to come up with new ideas with Imperialdramon, so be sure to stay tuned for more updates, but this is what I have for my current version and the build. It is no surprise that many of us are very familiar with the saying, eat your vegetables. And of course, we got the BloomLordmon Hydramon deck to talk about next. Despite the deck being hit in 2 different ways, one with the restriction of Hydramon only specifically for Ultimate Cup, but also the restriction of Bloomlordmon from the most recent June 2023 general restriction list, it is still not enough to stop this deck from being played. Although the speed of the deck has slowed down, BloomLordmon and Quartzmon are still very powerful cards that can carry the deck to win games alone. There are also a couple really good substitutes for Hydramon, such as Nidhoggmon to bottom deck your opponent's Digimon. And then there is also Lotusmon, which can suspend one of your opponent's Digimon for an entire turn, and also has another effect which gives all of your Digimon with plant, vegetation, or fairy in their traits on deletion gain 2 memory and add 1 Digimon card with 3000 DP or less from your trash back to your hand on your opponent's turn. This gives a defensive mechanism somewhat similar to Hydramon too. Other than that, the deck still performs the same way as it normally does, with the whole idea is to digivolve as much as you can and then go for your combos just like that. Another deck that is highly anticipated to do well within this round of June Ultimate Cups would be the Chaosdramon X and Machinedramon deck, which focuses on a black base. Losing access to the pure red cards and the inheritables isn't much of an issue, as there are plenty of different level 5 black cyborgs that you can actually work with to substitute for those. Chaosdramon X Antibody is also both black and red, meaning that the top end combos is still exactly the same. By building towards your gigantic stack, you can dominate your opponents with a ton of control depending on what parts you have underneath your big boss Digimon. And then you can take them down if they just can't get rid of it. The only weakness that it has is its slow early game, which can sometimes feel really rough to play through until you get your stack out. The consistency may also be slightly lacking, but is still very playable thanks to the mulligan rules. I would certainly expect Machinedramon and Chaosdramon decks to top during the event as well. For the very last deck of today, we definitely got Beelzemon to talk about. Despite EX2 Impmon being hit in the restricted list, I feel like the deck is still a very strong contender within both the regular and Ultimate Cup formats. Furthermore, Beelzemon is barely affected by the single color rule, since the deck is pretty much all purple to begin with. Although the milling effects have slowed down quite a bit, it can still reliably mill cards consistently through digivolving your stack while doing so. The end goal is still pretty much the same as before. Once you get 20 or more cards in your trash, you can still try to end games instantly with the Beelzemon X combo. And because of how powerful the combo still is when you are able to get there, it basically wins you games. And I feel that the deck can still perform very well during this event too. Now we'll wrap up for our top 10 decks that you can play for the June 2023 Ultimate Cup event upcoming. If you guys enjoyed the video, please give it a like. What other cool decks do you guys think we would see this time around? Be sure to share your thoughts with everyone in the comments down below. If you want to learn more about each deck we covered in this video, such as how to build them and play them, then be sure to watch the video guides for them as well. If you guys want to see what the top 5 meta decks are for the regular BT12 format within the June 2023 restricted list update as well, then be sure to join the discussion by watching the video too, and links will be left in the description box down below. As always, thank you so much for watching. You guys have a great day, great night, wherever you are. See you next video, and it's Vault, signing out.